put it two ways. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, something to be condemned, to take your own individual life seriously, in dead earnest, and to have all the problems that go with that. Do you understand that being that way, that being a real mixed up human being, is a manifestation of nature?
The chill of death follows him.
That is something just like patterns on the waves out here. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Or like a seashell. You know, we pick up shells. I always keep one around, sort of an example for many things. Say, my goodness, isn't that
I have come
gorgeous?
to take back Ravenswatch.
There's not an aesthetic fault in it anywhere. It's absolutely perfect. Now, I wonder if these fish look at each other's shells and say, don't you think she's kind of fat? Oh my, those markings aren't really very well spaced. Because that's what we do.
How satisfying!
Happens on the way. Happens on the way. That's what we do. Happens on the way. Happens on the way. That's what we do. See, we don't realize that all of us in our various goings-on and behavior and so on are just as much and more marvelous, much more complicated, much more interesting. All these gorgeous faces that I'm looking at. You know, every one of them. Some are supposedly pretty, some are supposedly not so pretty. But they're all absolutely gorgeous. And everybody's eyes is a piece of jewelry beyond compare. You. Happens on the way. Happens on the way. That's what we do. Happens on the way.
Shall certainly prove useful.
Happens on the way. That's what we do.
Let my enemies come. Chill of death follows in my wake.
We have specialized
I shall vanquish all those who rise
in a
up
certain
against
kind
me.
of awareness that makes us neglectful. You see, we specialize in more or less briefly concentrated, pinpoint attention.
One for the history books.
We look at this and we look at that. And we select from all the things we might possibly be aware of only certain things. And as a result of that, we leave out of our everyday consciousness one amazing beauty of experience that we never see at all. And on the other hand, the very deep thing, the sense of our basic identity, unity with, oneness with the total process of being. See, because we are staring, as it were, at certain features of the landscape, we don't see the background. And because we get fascinated with, I could go into details of the shell, as I said, and put myself in the mind of a conch or whatever it is that lives in this thing. And to say,
my power knows no bounds.
That's not so hot, that one. Like that, see? And so, I wouldn't see the whole thing. But when I look at it like this, when anybody looks at it like that, we say, oh my God, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous?
A moment of respite.
Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous?
I fear no nightmares. How satisfying!
Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. And that's what it keeps up doing forever and ever. Only, it has holidays.
The chill of death follows in my wake.
Which are called deaths. In the story of the creation of the world in the Bible, God works for 7 days and rests the seventh. It's necessary to have a holiday. Holiday is holy day. The point is that a holiday, this pause between something going on, is of the essence of the idea of a web. A famous Irishman is supposed to have described a net as a lot of holes tied together with string. So the holes are very, very important. These are the holy days. You see the holes? This all goes together. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. And that's what it keeps up doing forever and ever. So, there must be that interval. And it exists on all kinds of levels. It isn't simply that there is, for example, a sound that is sounded is a vibration. And the sound goes on and off. Everything that we call sound is sound silence. There is no such thing as pure sound. You couldn't hear it. What you hear is that tap, 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 eardrum. But it happens very fast, so that you get more of an impression of sound than you do of silence. That between every little undulation of sound, there is also an interval. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. And that's what it keeps up doing forever and ever. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. But what you hear, actually, that makes the melody significant are the steps between the tones, what we call the intervals. And a person who doesn't hear intervals is tone deaf. He only hears noises. He doesn't hear the steps. So that interval between whatever happens is as important as what happens. So we'll call these two things, the sound and the silence, the life and the death, somewhat analogous in weaving to the warp and the woof. Now, look at the marvelous way in which warp and woof go together. A piece of cloth is an extraordinary thing when you consider it's made of a line of string. There's something that always struck me as a child. Fabulous. That string, just thread, could turn into cloth. Why should it hang together? How improbable.
The chill of death follows in my wake. I shall cleanse this place with ice.
Another way of talking about the web is that there are different levels of magnification. For example, supposing you take a piece of embroidery, and here it is, obviously in front of you, an ordered and beautiful object. Then you take out a microscope, and you look at the individual threads. At a certain point, as you turn up the microscope, you'll get a hopeless tangle. It doesn't make any sense at all. The wrapped fiber that constitutes the thread is a mess. Hasn't been organized.